Okay, Trick, you can't keep telling me what things like realism mean, things I spent years studying, and I don't even agree with those things, right? Learned what I criticize now. I learned logic sufficiently. You are using these terms in ways that I am not familiar with. I want you to start quoting somewhere. So now, realism. You say that since I believe there is something out there, material universe beyond my sense perceptions, that makes me a realist. And I say, you're mistaken. And you say, well, I can do this stuff off the top of my head and really classical things like this because I've given a lot of thought and studied and tested on it, I guess. But whatever. I went to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, a good resource. Now they qualify a lot about the term realism because these terms have a lot of schools of philosophy have used them and had them applied, so there tends to be a proliferation of kinds of something like realism. But they do offer a definition for generic realism. A, B, and C, and so on exist, and the fact that they exist and have properties such as F-ness, G-ness, and H-ness is, apart from mundane empirical dependencies of the sort sometimes encountered in everyday life, independent of anyone's beliefs, linguistic practices, conceptual schemes, and so on. Do you understand? I have been arguing that there is no thing in itself, so C doesn't exist. A pile of carbon exists, but an identifiable, thing with F-ness and thingness doesn't exist. You can project that on there because it's giving you qualia, and you say everything that gives me the qualia of a green over there is part of an apple. But no, the photons are coming from that apple and they're not a part of the apple, and we know that. Okay, so I deny the F-ness and the thing in itselfness of the objects. That makes me not a realist. You notice it didn't say anything about believes there's an external world. Did you see that? So start quoting from a source like Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. You want to tell me about Logic 101, okay? Because I will talk to you about this stuff, but I'm not going to be lectured about basic things, especially when I'm not advocating them. I'm not saying you have to believe realism or that you have to not. I'm just using the label accurately, okay? You're using tons of labels, and I'm not seeing any of them used accurately the way I understand it. And when I check Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, my use is confirmed because my use comes from this tradition of philosophy. I learned these terms before I endorsed or rejected them. Okay. Thank you, though, for your participation.